We are live.
Hello.
Hey, we have liftoff. First of all, we want to apologize. Obviously, we had a couple problems with our video aspect working. So we apologize for everyone that was waiting. We thank you for being here. We're truly honored to be here with you today. So.
Yeah, no, thank you very much for that quick apology with the introduction. So those who are on live right now, we really appreciate you joining us from wherever you are. And thank you very much being here. The next 30 minutes to 1 hour, 1.5 hours. How long, Joel and Natalie, you want to stay? I don't know, maybe 1.5 hours, 1 hour?
It'll probably be an hour, but our goal is to have this be valuable and a good conversation. So whatever it looks like, it looks like. So we just thank everybody for spending your afternoon or evening here with us.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Or morning, depending on where you're at.
Yeah, exactly.
Depending on where you're at, absolutely. And I mean, this is a event that we both parties want. I mean, Transformation Academy and Delenta, we both want to basically do it for a while now. We've been sort of with the summer holidays, we just postponed and all that. So I'm so excited what we're going to share today. So those who are not familiar with my face, so who I am, I'm Sam Samara Singh, and I'm the founder and the CEO of Delenta. So you will hear a little bit more about Delenta in another 10-15 minutes time. But before that, I would like to welcome officially Joel and Natalie from Transformation Academy. And guys, amazing to be here with you guys. And at the same time, I really want to basically say this partnership that we are creating is so exciting. And, it's something that we don't normally do as sort of partnership webinars. We bring speakers from our community to deliver the Elevate series to share their wisdom with others. But this is a really special milestone in our journey, which is basically bringing another partner and basically co-creating this entire content for our youth audience and your audience. So I'm so excited.
Yes, we are as well. We're and we'll tell everybody a little bit about why we're doing this partnership together and who we are in a minute. And we'll also just, give you a little overview of what the heck we're here to talk about. Because I know even in our page about it's like, wow, there's a lot of things we're trying to cover in one day. But we all both of our companies, we really care about supporting coaches, and that's what we're here to do today. Absolutely. And so if you want, we can just get started with the presentation.
Let's do that.
Everything look good?
Looks very good. Yeah.
Okay. So, alrighty then, let's go.
Cool.
Oh man. No. Okay. I apologize, everybody. We're using hence the technical difficulties. Not sure how to move down one at a time, but here we go. So why are you here, right? Okay, so we know everybody here, you're either a coach or you want to be a coach. You're meant to be a coach, but you probably feel stuck in one way or another. So maybe you're feeling overwhelmed, especially with the tech. Maybe you're feeling a bit of imposter syndrome, or you are trying to get training and you don't even know what training you need, or you're just not tech savvy. And with all of these things that come together to be a coach, especially in the online age, it's overwhelming. Or maybe you are great at coaching and maybe getting clients and marketing is your weak point because, well, let's be honest, marketing kind of sucks. And so we understand all of this because we ourselves have been coaches for over 15 years.
Yep. So the reality is that really you're not alone in this process. There's a lot of overwhelm when it comes to the industry. I think that fortunately for everyone listening, if you're starting out, like when we started out 15 years ago, it isn't what it is now. So there was a lot of time and investment and money and even life coach training and certification programs, they just weren't there, right? So we traveled a lot to workshops, conferences, speaking arrangements, read a lot of books. Obviously I went to graduate school in psychology to try to understand it better. But there wasn't just an easy way to really get the training and understanding of the field. Also, when it came to the technical end, like websites, how to create a website, a back end and stuff like that, it just wasn't there, right? Unless you're willing to spend a lot of money. And there wasn't an easy way to make a payment or even meet with people unless you're actually renting space. Where nowadays, obviously, there's a lot of ways that makes it a lot easier, where you can have a website that already takes payments, that you can meet virtually. You can do all these things simply and do it very effectively and just start right away coaching.
And so, like, we up here it says video meetings, and we all take that for granted, especially in the last few years. We all do it. Almost every coach we know, that's how they meet with their clients these days. But when we started, we used to do teleseminars, like back on the phone before there was video. So that just dates us as far as how old we are. But you're in the right time, and everything's available at your fingertips, but it can still be confusing to figure out what to do and how to do it. And so that's part of why we are here today. So what are we going to be talking about? What are you going to learn? You're going to talk about how to present yourself professionally and how to feel confident as a coach, not just how you present yourself, but that, you're doing a good job as a coach and you know what you're doing. How to get clients using strategies that actually work for coaches. Hint, not social media, not paid ads, because that's not what works. There's a lot easier and less expensive and less tedious ways to do it. How to focus on coaching instead of spending all of your time trying to figure out the technology. And also how to grow your business and leverage your time as you start to get yourself going, or if you're already doing extremely well and you're ready for that next level.
So with that said, just to kind of let you know a little bit more about us and, this collaboration and partnership. For those of you that are part of our network, some of you don't know us, with Transformation Academy, we have over 700,000 students from over 200 countries and territories. But the reality is that even with that, we've never actually partnered with another organization. Part of the reason is that, we're very protective of our students, of who we work with. A lot of times we do stuff in-house. So when we looked at creating some of the stuff that Delenta has, we were already looking at developing a team, making it happen. And we actually happened to find Delenta and connect with Sam. And it was like love at first sight, right? So we had everything that we kind of needed in a lot of ways that we knew that could serve our students to really help develop the back end of a coaching business. But at the same time, they were generally caring about helping others. They were altruistic in that regard. They had the same philosophy, the same vision of helping democratize some access to not just information, but to the tools that would make people successful. So again, we're pretty excited about it. And that's why we kind of decided to partner with them. And we're here.
Yes, exactly. And so we're going to give a little bit of a backstory as to why we do what we do, how we came to be here. And then we're going to let Sam tell a little bit about that. And again, the reason why it matters is because we are not just transactional businesses, not Transformation Academy and not Delenta, that we feel like we're on the same team with all of these coaches that are part of our networks. And we're all working together to make a difference. So it matters who we are. And that's why we're going to take just a few minutes to tell you about why we care so much about this, because we're just very different than a lot of the other stuff and people that you find out there in the industry. And we think that matters. So
when it all started when I was 5 years old, I would meditate in a tree and everyone would come to me and ask for wisdom. No, I'm just playing. What happened and how we got into this industry and how I got into this industry. So I had a brother who passed away when I was 19, he was 17. I had failed my first year of college. At that point, it really impacted my life in an unimaginable way, but it gave me purpose and meaning. And it really helped me think, one day I want to open up a counseling center to help youth go through some of the things that we went through. And as I started learning more about the counseling industry, I went back to get my master's, went to graduate school. And as I looked at it, I really started to look at what kind of population I want to work. I was working in a day treatment center, working with people with dual diagnosis. I was working with other programs in the community. And I was like, I really want to work with purpose-driven clients, people that are really excited to make a transformation and people that are willing to change, right? So I started looking more into the coaching industry, and I was intrigued by it more than the counseling side because I was getting a little bit more, it just wasn't my ideal situation at the time, not the population. So when my brother passed away, I said, I'm going to open up a center for youth. And I put it on my bucket list, 10 years. And people would look at me like I was crazy because they said, seriously, you just failed college. Like you're going to go to college and open up this, right? But 10 years later, I find myself opening a coaching center for youth. And Natalie kind of took over. I started the business.
I'll explain it.
I started the business and we ended up, I had to leave the business and she kind of took over from there. So,
yeah. So I I was graduating and looking at what I wanted to do when I grew up. And I had also found the coaching industry and I was intrigued. I'm like, oh my God, this is exactly what I want to do, but I have no idea how to do it. Because again, there wasn't really a thing at the time. And I was looking for opportunities and I came across an ad in all places on Craigslist. And he had posted because he had a family emergency and had to leave that nonprofit that he had started, a coaching center for teens. And I'm like, oh my God, a coaching center for teens. That's exactly what I want. And so long story short, I came in, we met very briefly. He left, I took over running it with his business partner. And then it was a few years later that we came back together and we clicked, and we've been working together and being life partners ever since then. So then after that, we started coaching. We, again, started teleseminars, and he was a psychology instructor at the time. And we really wanted to make this into like a full-fledged business because at our core, we're entrepreneurs. And so it evolved. We ended up starting doing workshops and conferences and a lot of things in our community. And then we had this idea that, well, why don't we do something bigger? And someone happened to mention, you know, we could really use a magazine in our area that kind of connected everybody who's in like into holistic health and personal development and spirituality and all of these people. And we look at each other and we're like, okay, we're going to do that, which of course we're crazy. And that's what we do. We dive in. Every business we've started takes about 6 weeks. And this was the first one we did this with. And so literally 6 weeks later, we had 7,000 magazines printed and distributed. And it was great because then we had free advertising for all of our events and our coaching and everything in the magazine. And it evolved from there. We ended up opening a center. We also had a book publishing company and
magazine.
So we did a lot of things. We won't bore you with the details, but in the end, we ended up having 5 businesses that we were running at the same time. This was in 2014. And then life told us that it had other plans for us.
Yep. And just to kind of rewind a little bit, part of what we did in the life coaching center is that we were training teachers, sheriff officers, and other people in the community as well on life coaching skills to then implement it in the community. And in 2014, what ended up happening was that I became very ill. I was bedridden for over a year. I lost 30 pounds. My ability to basically swallow food, it's like I had to eat baby food and stuff like that. And, during that time, I really started reflecting on my life. It's like, okay, I've dedicated all this time, purpose driven, wanting to make an impact, but here I am, I don't even know if I'm going to make it through this. And I said, okay, what can I do to leave a legacy if I don't make it? And I started looking at online courses. And I said, well, even if it doesn't ever make any money, and here we are selling our furniture to pay our bills. And we said, well, we're still going to do it because obviously this is what we feel called. This is my purpose. And if I end up passing away, I want to leave something behind. And so I learned about online courses, started studying it. So then at that point, we started putting a lot of our training programs that we did in person, since I can no longer do it, start recording them at home and really just focusing on legacy and really focusing on accessibility and how can we reach the most people. Because before, we used to charge thousands of dollars for our training, where how can we make it cost effective to have more reach more people, make the biggest impact, and again, focus on legacy. And that's kind of how we ended up with, 700,000 students with that in mind of how can we reach the most people. And
so it worked, and we kept doing it.
Yep.
And we kept having people come to us saying that what we had created, it was impacting their lives. And then when we were turning our own coaching into coaching programs, other coaches were like excited because we're giving them a blueprint that they can follow to coach their clients using our processes. And then again, we're getting all this feedback, like people thanking us and being so grateful, not only that what we're giving them is something useful and they're applying it to their lives personally and they're applying it to their business, but that we made it accessible to them. And like, we got hooked on that. We got hooked on knowing that we have people from 200 countries and territories, a lot of people that are in places where the cost of living and their incomes are very different. And we decided we never want to take that away. So we are committed to remaining accessible. And that was actually another reason why we loved Delenta, because they also help cut down the costs of what it takes to run a coaching business. And they're extremely affordable. And the whole point between us and them and this whole thing is to try to democratize coaching, make it so anyone can be a coach. Anyone can afford the training and the tools, and anyone can hire a coach. And that's kind of our vision, is like have a whole world filled with people helping each other in a very practical way.
Following their purpose. So, and with that said, Sam, you want to share a little bit more about you?
I tell you, like it's so. I mean, I have. I mean, you know that we basically spoke about the stories, and it's so inspiring. Every time I hear that, I get goosebumps. Right, like all this the journey that you guys took, and kudos to you, by the way. It's admirable. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So yeah, I'm so glad, absolutely glad about this partnership. And it, like you said, the ethos and the values that the core values that we both share is amazing. So definitely, I'm really excited about this partnership. Okay, it's enough, enough love now, right? Let's my story, right? So of course, so I've been in tech industry for whatever the 20 years almost, right? From the sort of dot-com burst to all that. At the very early stage in my career, I've seen all this tech doing a lot of things in the world. But there's something that I always found, even though I was working for all of those large companies and helping to solve very complex issues, I always look at like how the tech can be used for social impact. What is the gap? Why there's no enough investment? There's no enough effort going into that space. So I had to do something myself. This is how Delenta started. So that back in 2018, I thought, what, this is it. I basically done with my career. I have basically given enough my time to these tech big solutions, etc. What I want to do is I want to build a service kind of platform where people can come together and share their knowledge and experience for free with others to make that bigger impact that you want to make, right? So I was one of them that, I'll go to LinkedIn and Facebook and try to sort of share my knowledge and experience, but it's like, everybody look at or judge, what is this guy's angle? Why you're doing that? And why do you want to basically share this? So I want to create my own space for me to publish my own time availability. And I want sort of people to say, book my time whenever you get a chance, right? So look at my calendar, book my time. So I make that accessible through the internet. So the people now from Africa to India, Australia to US, everybody can book my time. So that was the first solution for Delenta. It was completely free. People come together and create a landing page with the availability slots. We build a video conferencing system in order to facilitate the entire thing, right? At our cost. We didn't charge anybody anything. So now, what happened during the pandemic was incredible, because I completely resonate with what you guys saying at the time. Even 2018, 2019, people were meeting, and talking to each other. It's sort of coaching is happening offline, not that much online. So during the pandemic. So Natalie, if you go to the next slide, I would basically say we found out most people who use our platform for free to share their knowledge and experience, they were plugging their services onto our solution. They try to figure out how to integrate with Zoom, how to integrate with PayPal, Stripe, and all the other things. And then we asked the questions, of course, why you want to do that? And this is what they showed us. We did a research. We found so many different tools. They try to connect together and build this sort of business that, almost like one man, one woman business, with the multiple tools coming together, and they try to figure out how to make it streamlined. And it was, for me, coming from a technology background, not much from coaching background like yourselves, Joanna and Natalie, I really, my jaw dropped. Like, wow, seriously, you guys have one man, one woman business, and you have this much tech in going on and this much expenses going on, and this is unreal. And more I looked into it, I found they're all heart-centered people. So the people coming from a corporate or situation, like a really life difficult situation, they come into this, they fall in, almost like drop into this coaching space where they say, what, I want to share my story, I want to share my experience, what I've been through. And I want to make somebody's, better, or somebody's life better, or relationship better. And that's how they start their own journeys. And it's so unreasonable, unfair for me to think that it will be, it is you need to have a complex service solution operations to run that kind of business. So how we can streamline, that's where we actually started Delenta. So during 2020 we built the platform, we launched it, and since then we've been organically growing. and all these individuals who shared our same vision and mission, they actually shared with their own groups, and that's how we grew. We haven't got a marketing budget even in our business. We basically growing with the word of mouth, and the connections like this, that sort of relationship that we develop like this with Joanne and Natalie, like we just share our values and vision, and people tend to fall in love with that, and we want to simplify even more the business. So that's what we are, our mission is. So now, actual solution. If you go to the next one, Natalie, please. You see, it doesn't matter what stage that you're at your coaching journey. So sometimes you're at the training stage, and maybe you've got a certification, maybe you're scaling your business. So we have customers from all the angles, including organization with hundreds of cultures that are using the platform. So we've seen all, and we basically want to cater to everybody. But most important thing is, if you're starting today, as a trainee coach, you probably have a vision to scale your business. So that's where we can come in. We can get you organized, simplify, and make sure you scale nicely in one system, where you can add associates one day, you can add your admins one day, and you can build your beautiful business and make that impact that you want to make one day in a drastical fashion. So that's why our technology is going to fuel your business with. So I'm sure you guys want to say something similar to the stages of coaching, life cycle. So I'll let you dive into that, guys.
Yeah, and I really appreciate it, because, like you said, I don't think when you first get the idea of coaching and you start looking at all the back end and stuff that comes around from it, it can be very daunting and intimidating. So
yeah, because you don't realize, first, I just want to coach people. I want to work with someone, and we're going to have this conversation, and we're going to set goals on. That's what we think of, and then when you try to actually execute, especially with online coaching, then you're like, whoa. So you're absolutely right, Sam, that coaching kind of develops in stages when you're starting a coaching business. So the question is, for everybody who's joining us, what coaching stage are you in? So this could be, you could be just getting started. So maybe you're really inspired, and then you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I can actually get paid to do this. But maybe you've then gotten to the point where you're overwhelmed and you don't know where to start. Or maybe you're at that confidence building stage. So it's okay, well, now I realize this stuff I got to learn. I need to learn how to coach. I need to learn how to create a website, put these pieces together, present myself, so that I feel like I can put myself out there. And maybe you're already doing that. Maybe you're putting yourself out there. You're already working with clients. Chances are, even if you're already getting clients, marketing is still a thing. You're still frustrated that it's challenging to get clients and you're not sure what to do. And then lastly, you might be fully into this. You're doing really well. And now you're looking at how to scale, how to add in other types of services, how to leverage your time. So all coaches go through these steps as they scale a business. And that's kind of like the structure that we think about in both of our businesses, and why we offer things for people at all 4 of these levels. So regardless of where you're at, we understand, and we're going to talk about things that might help you get to that next level that you're working on.
Yep. And obviously when you first get started, you're all excited, you're inspired, you're passionate about it. Yay, I want to be a coach. Obviously, if you're in the field, it's because you've already been doing this, right? Meaning that people have naturally come up to you. They're looking for insights. They're looking for your feedback. So you've probably been doing this since you were in middle school or something, right? So a lot of you are just natural coaches. And then what happens though, is that once you start really thinking about it, the nervousness, the overwhelm, the imposter syndrome, who am I to really be doing this? That's when it really kicks in, and you have a lot more of those challenges. And then part of it is don't know how to coach, right? When you're getting started, you don't know what is the processes that I need to actually get somebody the results. Because again, if you're not getting results, yes, you can sit there and talk to someone. And it's a very different process than talking to a friend or someone that comes up to you with a problem. You actually want to have step-by-step kind of solution to helping them get there. And that's why in a lot of our programs, that's where we actually include all the handouts and everything that a person would need for session number 1, session number 2, and stuff like that. The other part is, feeling the credibility of it. It's that, who am I? How are people going to view me? Am I going to be judged and stuff like that? So, that's why you have to have a back end or something that people see, whether it's a website, whether it's something else that you might have that might make you look the professional part, where people are going to feel comfortable with you, where people are going to say, not only when, they first meet you, but then once they register with you for a coaching session, where they can have something that they can look at that they know, well, this person's credible. And that actually builds up on the success, right? Because, when a person trusts you, they see you as credible, then they're actually going to take more actions that are going to create the results that they want, which then again helps your coaching business grow. So it's not just having the right tools, but then having the presentation, being able to do that. The other part that I hear a lot of coaches struggle and kind of get stuck is we're heart-centered people, right? If we can do this for free because we didn't have to pay bills, we probably would, because we just want to genuinely help people. But at the end of the day, obviously you got bills to pay, you got other things. So it's just that selling aspect of it, which again, we'll kind of demystify it, because a lot of people have just a negative connotation with it without really understanding it. The other part is just asking for payment, just really just asking people, this is my rate. And then actually taking the rate can be really intimidating for a lot of people in this heart-centered space. So again, many coaches just get stuck on this, on the idea phase, on the learning phase, but they never actually take it any further.
And we don't want to see you get stuck as a best kept secret. Because,
don't be Waldo.
Yeah, don't be Waldo. We know that you can make a difference in people's lives. So if you never get to the point where you're feeling confident enough to do that, then other people are missing out on what you can have to offer. And the only way to get past this is to learn, is to research, is to take classes that teach you how, get a certification, learn about the technology, and find the solutions, because you need to be doing this and we don't want to see you get stuck. And so what does gaining confidence even look like? So to be confident as a coach means you're not feeling like an imposter anymore. You feel like you know what you're doing, you can get people results, there's meaning behind what you're doing, and you've got this. It's also about the public part, social proof, credibility, having people look at you like you know what you're talking about. And these things combined make you feel confident. And the more confident you feel, the more confident your clients are going to feel as well. And so there's several pieces that go into what would you need to do, if this is the stage you're at now, to build that confidence.
And one thing I'll say though, real quick, is that, when you don't wait till you feel fully confident, because a lot of people, they start developing some of the tools, they have some of the processes and stuff like that. But even though they're there, they never launch because they're too afraid, because it's like perfectionist syndrome. The reality is that you're always going to have some fears. You're always going to have some doubts. I know one of the studies said that, in the professional field, like most of them, like their biggest fear is not looking credible or not looking like they know enough, right? So
even people with like PhDs or like 20 years of experience as a doctor, they still don't believe that they're good enough. So it's okay if you're still feeling uncomfortable. The whole point is, what can you do so that you feel comfortable enough to actually put yourself out there?
Yeah.
And so the first thing is credentials. Now we're going to be transparent, even though, yes, we are a coach training company. We are very upfront. There is absolutely nothing that says that you have to get a certification of any kind ever as a coach. It is not required. There are no laws. There are no accrediting bodies, no boards. It doesn't exist, no matter what else you've heard. And that, as far as we're aware, that accounts for all countries on earth. Yeah. So we're just saying that up front, that you don't have to do it. However, of course, it makes a lot of sense to do it, because not only does a certification give you some level of credibility, although to be honest, your clients are never going to ask. It's not about that really. It's about having it for your own purpose, so that you feel like you've got the knowledge and the training and the tools to do what you want to do, which is make a difference and feel confident that you can do that. So that's really the main reason to take a training. Getting clients results, of course, that's going to make you feel confident when you have that call or that 6-month package with a client, and it really transforms their lives, and you know that you got them the results. That's what makes you feel confident to then go to the next person and the next person. And we don't think that you should leave that up to chance. What we teach people is the best thing you can do is think about, well, what results have I gotten for myself? What have I been through? What expertise do I have? Even if it's expertise I gained because I had to go through something that sucked, but I made it to the other side of it. And that also makes me passionate about it. So this is a really great thing. I want to help other people through this. And so that's why we talk a lot about niche-based coaching based on the results you got, because then you know you can get clients results. And then, of course, on our end, what we do is we provide training programs that are focused on a niche that have a step-by-step process that leads to a result. So the more clear you are on what results you're getting and how you're getting them for your clients, the more confident you feel. Then, of course, there's the presentation. So in most cases, this is your website. And of course, it's your branding and a logo and what it looks like. But it's also just having that professional presentation. So when people come and they see your material and they see you, they're like, oh, well, this person has their stuff together and looks like they know what they're talking about. And then the last piece to being confident is that thing that Joelle mentioned about the enrollment process and payments, because you don't know how many coaches are still like trying to send an invoice or trying to ask someone to pay over the phone or trying to track people down for a payment. And it just, again, we feel so awkward about it. We won't want to do it. So having that taken care of, really making it a smooth process, takes that stress away.
I think it also sometimes creates friction with clients because coaches, have to send the invoice or remind them, and they feel awkward about it, and then they create kind of animosity to a certain degree.
Because you're a one-man band. It would be ideal if you had an assistant who can take care of payments, but most coaches aren't in that position.
And actually, I was talking to a coach at one point. We were talking about taking payments and some of their fears around it. And it was interesting because, they were struggling financially, and they had like 6 payments that haven't been made. And I'm like, well, maybe you should get your clients to actually pay you, and it would help you from the situation that you're in. So again, I think
she couldn't do it because she felt awkward, bad asking for the payment. So again, we know that this is a thing a lot of people struggle with. And again, this is why we love Delenta, because they make it so easy that all of this stuff happens in one place. So and when we've talked to Sam about it, he's talked to us about some of the situations that their clients go through. And we were like, yep, these are definitely our people. All of our people come to us with the same sort of complaints and questions all the time.
Yeah. Well, this is where things are getting interesting, right? Like at the beginning, like you said, very excited, everybody's energetic, and it's all these dreams and all that. And then you basically stop. All right, now I need to really think about this entire process, and there you come with all the tools in the world. If you're on Facebook, you get targeted by multiple companies to say, get my availability, okay, website for 20 quid. Then you basically go and add more cost by building a website. You have to basically pay for someone, and then you got SEO, Google Analytics. So there's the overwhelm come from, right? Now, what we've seen from this is a case where I want to introduce Lisa Tyler. She's based in Oxford in the UK, and she basically been through this sort of a same kind of a overwhelming kind of time period. She did her training, and then she wanted to sort of build a website, and then she basically sort of connected with us to say, one of my community, community, somebody was talking about Delenta, and I want to have a chat with you. And then we talk about all the other tools versus Delenta. The first thing is, okay, I want to have presence, like you both are talking about how we can sort of present ourselves professionally to the other world, right? To the potential customer, where you need to have branded a landing page, where people can book your time in, and then once the time is booked, what is the next, right? Are you sending the reminders? How is that going to work? How well you basically present in the next communication. When you do a discovery call, how you present yourself. In fact, this is the reason why I really like about what Transformation Academy is offering is this profile. We have like a 2 or 3 paragraphs that you can write. You can write a book if you want, but to be effective, you can write certain number of characters. But with your training, you can really teach individual who can really position themselves and create the traction from this individual who basically come across your landing page. So simply, Lisa, she actually got all the things written, and she connected this page to her LinkedIn, her Facebook, and everywhere where people basically sort of resonate her ideas or posts. They come through the Facebook or LinkedIn to the landing page, book time. She does discovery call. Our CRM capture all the activities that she does. If somebody book a time, it captured by Delenta. And then she can on the fly can create a payment plan like for coaching programs. So she's testing with the multiple different subscriptions where she doesn't have to chase money like you're talking about, doing invoices, manually. It's all happen on the platform. You create a program and you send that to the person, the unique link, and they will purchase a plan. And then here you go. You basically sort of, payment kicks in. You all these outstanding payments taken care of by the system and payment management system, and then you can just turn up to the sessions and do the sessions. If you want to even get customers to book your time, you can do that right to the platform. So I'm not going to go into almost every detail of it, but I want to tell you that how Lisa sort of went through from no website, and after training to build a successful coaching business, and she's a GDPR practitioner, and she sometimes collaborate with us to even help us. So we know how successful she is. So this is one of these sort of success stories I want to share with anybody who's at this stage in your coaching journey.
When I love the fact that obviously you have the calendars already there, you have the front end, you have the packages that you can kind of develop and all those different things. So it makes it easier because, like we always say too, if you're just doing one-offs as coaches, part of the problem is very hard for people to commit because they're only coming like in crisis or whatever it is. So you have the ability to have that one thing, but you have the ability to also develop packages and different things that might be more beneficial.
Exactly. And if you want to test, I think this is one of the key things in my career, how it basically works. I think we can simply apply for any industry. You should not fixate in one price point or one program. You can test with multiple things. So in order to do that today, you have to hire a web developer, or you need to build a landing pages in different softwares. In Delenta, simply you can build unlimited landing pages to your programs, right? You can simply test your pricing, and you can check in a report very easily which one is selling most, because we have situations where life coach and a communication coaching, the same individual is doing both, and he showed me the communication coaching is how effective when you look at the report. So you can see this package is selling most, even though both packages are there in the side by side. So it's interesting how we can do these tests very simply on Delenta without any additional cost. And if you're using different integrations, probably you're using Google Calendar or Outlook Calendar, you can integrate that with the availability calendar that Delenta got. So you don't have to go and think about double booking issues and things like that. And you can integrate your MailerLite, or we also integrate with Zapier. So all the tools can be integrated in the solution. Even if you're using another solution, you have potential to integrate with Delenta. So that makes your life much easier. One more thing I want to basically mention here is that presentation part that you touch base on is so vital, because what we have heard many times in our community discussions, or when we speak to our customers individually, which we do get their feedback, they say when a customer turn up and when they get onboarded to a client portal, which is a private secure client portal, even if you want to brand, you can brand it. And when they start getting the sessions, upcoming sessions, time that they spend, the task, accountability tasks that they allocate, they suddenly become serious with these coaching activities. And they want to pay even more or refer you more, because they know that this is not just a coach with a Zoom link. He's actually got a system, and then he's basically done a lot of groundwork before he even onboard me into a his or her practice. So just one thing I would highlight there.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I really love too is, like you said, coaching is about accountability. So having a system in place where you already have a back end, where you're seeing a client, where you can drip content, where you can send them something every week automatically or something like that to keep them in the right direction of achieving their goal, where they feel like they have that connection with you, a space that even when you're not there, you can continue to add stuff that's going to add value to their lives and help them grow.
And so I just want to reiterate how much, I'm sure everybody watching it, the fact that all of those things are in one place, and you can see from the pictures that the landing pages look beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so much. I wish that this existed. The amount of hassle and money we have spent on websites and trying to piece that together. And again, just the fact that you created it because you understood, you took the time to ask the clients and get the feedback and add in these features over time, because I know it's just continued to grow. You guys are always adding new features to it, because you really understand what it's like to be a coach. And so like, that's what we appreciate about it.
Yeah. Well, you're open for the feedback. So
Exactly.
well, one of the things too, so, okay, now you know, in these stages, right? So you feel more confident. Maybe you've done some training, you've gotten the tools, you're working, you know, have a website, have a back end, whereas Delenta or something else, or even with certification with us or someone else or whatever it is, but you have that confidence, you have that back end. And now comes the fun part, right? The clients. And this is, you know, this is the part I think most coaches really dislike, just the idea of how do I get clients, you know, because they've created this complex things in their mind of how to actually be successful. And sometimes the marketplace, you know, I hear a lot of people selling like marketing for coaches, and a lot of things that they're saying is like, seriously, that doesn't work. And it's like, okay, you don't have to do any of that. You don't have to spend all that money. It's just overcomplicated. It's not what you need. So we kind of take some time to kind of demystifying that part of how to get clients.
And so that's why this topic, the marketing piece, we're going to deep dive a little bit into it today, because this is whether it's our own students, or we know we've heard feedback from Delenta, this is what their customers are asking about, because this is the part all coaches struggle with. Because again, we're heart-centered, like caring people. We want to, you know, talk to people and feel good. We don't want to market and sell. It just feels yucky. So, but the reason why it's so hard is because most people are focusing in the wrong area. They're focusing on the surface. So here's a nice little iceberg, instead of focusing on what actually matters. So the surface is the public facing stuff, like your social media, your website, and your logo. Of course, the website's important. Having branding is important. But most people, that's the only thing they do. And then they wonder why they're not getting clients. Because I can assure you, if you make a website and post on social media, that's not going to work.
Nope.
So we're going to explain why. Underneath that waterline, the stuff that actually makes up the most of marketing. And it looks like a lot of words, but I promise you it's actually not that complicated. It's about target marketing, having a niche, having a coaching package that's designed to explain people and actually get them those results we've been talking about. Doing the marketing that actually works, having messaging that explains it in a way that your clients will understand and want to do business with you. And then, of course, your underlying skills. All of that is what really makes coaching marketing work.
Yeah. And for us, that's why, you know, with a lot of our students, one of the things that we focus on, you know, we have programs on how to find your niche, how to like message, you know, once you find them, how to target them, how to message to them, and how to develop packages and stuff like that, because that is essential to running a functional business. And some of these things, I know it sounds very intimidating, but you can automate some of those things. And, you know, as far as some of your messaging and once you get it going in the back end, but we'll get more into that possibly later.
Yes.
But
plus it can be fun.
It can be fun. Yeah. It's a fun exploratory process. And sometimes if you're just starting the coaching industry, you know, it takes time for you to explore and really find what works for you and what doesn't. And for me, for example, I thought I wanted to work with a population. And once I worked with it, I was able to say, no, this is kind of where I want to go to. And this is kind of what I want to focus on. And this is my ideal client. So you start getting more feedback on what that ideal client is. So I want to go over some proven methods, but
exactly. So we're not going to get into all of that today. Yeah. We don't have time for that. But what we can focus on is the marketing piece and demystifying it. So you don't think you have to go do paid ads. You don't have to post a million times on Facebook or wherever you like to post.
Doesn't work.
Doesn't work. And it's time consuming. And often it's expensive too. So what does work, the good news is it's not expensive. It's not time consuming. It's not complicated. And these are the three magic things that work for coaches that have been proven. It worked for us. It works for every coach that we're friends with. All of the people that we've ever trained, that we've heard feedback from. This is what works. First one is joint ventures. The second one is speaking in front of your ideal target audience. And the third one is offering free introductory sessions or clarity sessions or whatever you want to call it, but done properly. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to get a little bit more into detail about these three things so that you can get your mind thinking about them after this call and think about how could I use this with what I'm doing now.
Yeah. And joint ventures for us, it's like a lot of people say, so yeah, how did you, you know, with everything that we've done, every single business, whether it's our coaching business, our online, you know, academy or our magazine and stuff like that, it's all been collaboration, you know, and that is the shortcut. to actually growing your business instead of trying to get one client here, one client there. But before you even do that, you there's some homework that you need, right? You have to really understand who your ideal client is. So what are their interests? What are their pain points? What are their problems? What's some of the solutions that you're looking to create for them, right? Once you develop that understanding, you start looking at where do they already do business and spend time, and once you find that, it makes it a lot easier for you to then be able to collaborate. And I'll give you some examples in a minute, to be able to collaborate maybe with those business and develop joint ventures with them. That's going to help you get more clients, get a referral source, so you're not spending all this time and energy. At the same time, it doesn't mean that you just go up with somebody that has your ideal clientele. They have like 10,000 people clientele or an email list of 1,000 or whatever it is. And you're like, hey, can you send an email out? Because I have a coaching practice. They're going to laugh at you and they're going to be like, who are you? Right. Because at the end of the day, they're going to also be protective of their people, but they're going to also want value for their clients. And they're going to want value for themselves. Right. So it's developing something that's a win-win situation. And for example, we've had coaches that have worked with that are in the health field, so they're health coaches, and there's many ways to go about and develop some partnership there. So you can partner with personal trainers that are working with people. And the way that benefits the personal trainer is that they already have clientele. They can refer people to you. And the reason they would do that is because in their packaging, they could say, hey, if you get this package, you also get an hour of free coaching with, Joel Antonio Rivera Treviño Santana Octubre, right? And that is my full name, right? But it's a value to them. And at the same time, they're getting value to their clientele. And by them working with a health coach, what happens is that then they're more committed to continuing with their personal trainer, because in their mindset, you're helping them on this health journey, right? So again, it's developing those partnerships. I've done this before where I went to yoga centers, for example. My ideal client, is people in that niche. So I talked to them. I said, hey, I know you sell these packages. What if when you're selling these packages, you can offer a free coaching session with me? Again, getting free referrals. I didn't have to do anything. Value for them, value for me. And I also refer people to them as they go along. So it's always about connecting dots, and it's always about developing those partnerships that are going to help you grow.
And the whole point is that you figure out what your niche is, who your ideal clients is, who those businesses are that fit to you. And you can come up with some sort of trade like this. There's so many ways to do it. Again, we could go on about this for hours. But just that one thing alone is the biggest thing that's ever helped us in our business. And the second biggest thing that's ever worked for us, and again, coaches in general, is speaking in front of an audience of your ideal clients. So this is the number one type of joint venture, because if you have another place that has your people and you can get in front of them and you speak, and while you're speaking, you're providing value. You're giving them a taste for what it's like to be coached. You're helping them solve a problem. They're getting to know you. They're getting to see what you're talking about. They like you. And then at the end, you're offering them hey, I'm a coach and this is what I do and this is what I can do for you. That is the ideal way to get a client. There is nothing that works better than that, because it's like they're there for like the 10 or 20 or 40 or 60 minutes. And they're listening to you. Like, what other marketing mechanism do you have that you get that much time with somebody's paying attention to you? Yeah. But of course you can go and speak somewhere else. You could do it in a webinar or a summit. It can be virtual. You could host your own workshops. Workshops are great ways to have to reach a group of people on the same content, or do an introductory type of workshop that then leads into another program. You can speak for free. We did that. Like, most of the speaking we've ever done has been for free, because when it's the right audience, it's totally worth it, because it's helped us get enrollments and clients. You can get paid. Of course, there's ways of being a speaker and getting paid. Some people even pay to speak on a stage or participate in a summit. And the reason why they pay to do that, sometimes absurd amounts of money, is
you'd be surprised.
You don't even want to know, because it works.
Yeah.
Why would we? Okay. We know people who have spent $100,000 to speak on a stage. Why would they do that? Because it works. So why not be smart and look at, okay, if it's worth that much to them, it's probably worth me learning how to do it.
Yeah.
So that I'm just saying, it definitely works. And again, the goal is you have to do the presentation in a way that really gives them a taste for what you do.
Yeah, and that's why with a lot of our certifications, what we did was that we created, like, for example, our life purpose certification, life coach certification, or happiness certification. Then we actually have a presentation that we give to our students so that they can go out there and they can actually already have a made for you workshop that they can do virtually or physically with PowerPoints and everything. And then the handouts that they're going to give. And then at the end to basically sell their program, their coaching program. That way they can already move on. And, that's why we're so passionate about speaking. And for example, when I first started coaching, one of the things I did, I partnered with like the Women's Resource Center. I already knew their clients. I knew that I can add value. I did free workshops for them. I got clients out of that. I partner with spiritual centers. I partner with yoga centers. I partner with a lot of different places that have my ideal target. I joined venture with them. I gave value. I spoke there. And obviously at the end of the day, I got a lot of coaching clients from it as well. So it's just overall, it's just a great way to do it. If you have problems speaking, obviously there's different ways to learn how to become a better speaker. There's organizations that you can join. We even have courses on how to help you develop a presentation, how to be more confident with speaking. You can even do it virtually if you don't want to do it in person because it's too intimidating, right? Where you can even do it where you're not even showing your face as much if that's a little bit more comforting. So one of the things that we did also is that we interviewed people when we first started some of our coaching practice, where we'd interview people that already had a big following. And part of that interviewing, we were also able to pitch our coaching. So many ways of doing that.
So the podcast work then, I mean, if you're not want to do live event, or if you're not really, if you're stage side like myself, so you can do a audio version of that, like you said, right?
Yes.
Recorded. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people are doing it through podcasts. You don't have to be strategic on that, but it's kind of the same concept.
Yeah.
Right.
Just anytime where you can speak and share your wisdom and your passion, do it. Like it works. That's why you see people doing it.
Yeah, and the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it. So,
and then hold on. The question is, okay, you're speaking, you're doing joint ventures, you're getting all these potential leads. So then what? Like, how do you convert them into a client?
Yeah, and one of the most effective thing is really free sessions where somebody gets like a session with you to kind of fill you out, see what coaching is about, see how it helps them. One of the things I always suggest is try to get a couple quick wins. Obviously, you want it to be structured. It can be free. It can be highly discounted, usually, especially at the beginning. I know people now that charge a ridiculous amount for coaching packages. And they still do free sessions with their ideal target audience, just because for them, it's a way to really show value and to help them understand that they can get results, right? And at the same time, it's recognizing that it's for you to know if they're a good fit for you. When you first start coaching, everyone's like, yeah, I just want as many clients as I can get. I got to pay bills and I want to help people and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, you start realizing that not every coach, not every potential client should be your client. Just because they're willing to give you some money doesn't mean you have to take it, right? Not just because they're willing to book that you should do it, right? Because at the end of the day, you also want to wake up and feel alive and enjoy the coaching, right? You want to work with people that are committed to really transforming and committed to changing their lives. So it's designing it in a way that's going to help you and help them and really have the synergy to really create some magic as far as transformation goes.
And so, again, you've gotten more confident. You've got the tools, you've gotten the training, and you're using these marketing techniques that actually work. You're maybe even be getting clients. But is your enrollment process working? How are you meeting with them? How are you feeling about that? Again, this is something we get asked all the time. People talk about Zoom and Skype and they're complaining about it all the time. So again, this is why we just kept coming back to the need for something else, and why we were so excited when we found Delenta, because it gives you the ability to do all of these things that we've been talking about all in one place.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you want to share a little bit more, Sam, about how you guys do that? I think it's very
absolutely. And I again, the JV concept, like if you look at the way our story started, it's not official JVs, but we simply talk to the common audience, and that audience start talking to the other audience, and this is how we grew. It's so interesting when you have value to give to someone, and if you can stay in front of and talk about it, and how that message spreads so quickly. So completely understand, and there's a value both ways for the partner and the audience, and everybody wins in that process, right? That's what I really like about that strategy. It's really interesting. And yeah, so this is the stage that we are, again, going back to the, what you're talking about, guys, like, so you're getting now clients, and now you want to make sure you have the right kind of onboarding or enrollment service. So where you can think about, okay, step back and think, what are my high value programs, right? Okay, I want to do one-to-one, I can do group sessions, I can do, maybe I can create courses, I can also make sure that I do on demand kind of a way of handling clients. So there you need to have a sort of program, right, to capture the user journey or customer journeys. So the people come from that JV partner. The people come from the social media. They land on the, in our case, what you see is that Dr. Renee's landing page, that the Delenta landing page, where she basically say, this is the time I'm available. So she basically defined that time only in the afternoon, 2 to 4. I only speak, right? This is the time I'm available. And if there's anything in the Google Calendar or something, blocking it, apart from that, I'm available. All these people having the discussion, and then she basically say, what? I have a free group coaching session. You can basically come into this 2-3 sessions, and from there they'll love what she does. She, of course, getting more clients to one-to-one, and then she will basically do courses on Delenta, and then she will all these content that she create as courses, she will send those to drip those content to those clients automatically, without her having to do this manually or hire someone else to do it. Everything happens online on Delenta, by the way. Now, that's her story. So she basically sort of look back and see, all these program I have, and how I'm going to connect all of them, right? I can't have a platform, my website is there, and my courses are there, and my group programs are there, and my community is there. So all there. So that's where we can really help, and that's how we help Dr. Renee to scale her business. And the most important part, I think, as the people take this granted, but sometimes at the beginning you kind of say, what, it's all right, the data, right? What you capture as information. I can't sort of stress enough how much value our users are getting benefit out of that. Like I was talking about earlier, which coaching package doing well, plus how my seasonal revenue growth going to happen, right? And this is the time I can do a course, because April to May is very quiet. You can see that the seasonal growth on Delenta. You can see I can do a group event now. I'm ready to do that because I've got all these things organized nicely. All the notes are in one place. My customers are happy. So that data is coming to Delenta and show you in front of you on the dashboard beautifully that how all these revenue works with your session that you do. If you're doing so many sessions and still not making revenue, you need to know that trend, and you need to sort of talk to experts like yourselves, Joel and Natalie, and say, what, this is my problem. What am I doing wrong? Probably you have certification to do that, and training to basically help them with that. So that's where we can really help, and that's how we have helped so far. So if you go to the next slide. Not sure which one is next, but let's see.
And actually, I love that quote where she says, I could do more of like working with my clients. And I think that's what people miss, is that they're like, okay, I'm going to do one-on-one coaching. It's an hour session or 90-minute session, but they don't realize that there's so many other things involved in that 1 hour session that takes a lot more time, especially if you don't have a system that's efficient and you don't have a functional backend, and you're trying to do like all these different things from like 4 or 5 different sources. And I think that's where Delenta also comes in, where then you're able to really just focus more on what you're passionate about and not take so much of that time that's taken away from where you can be marketing, doing the one-on-one sessions, introductory sessions, and just coaching in general.
Yeah, exactly. That is the point. So that she's captured it right there.
Yeah. Let's
focus. Let's show up for our clients as a coach.
Yep.
And let the rest of it be taken care of by something else.
Yeah, no, I mean, literally, like sometimes we see that coaches are creating courses, and they say it's a free course, and get them people to enroll with that course, so they can nicely funnel to the next level. So yeah, so going back to the again solution that we're creating, I think end of the day, we want to make everything streamlined, organized, and make you feel confident. That Joel and Natalie talking about earlier. You are in control. You understand what's going on. You see at a given time how many leads I have got, how many inquiries I've got, how many customers I've got, and what happened with each and every customer inquiry, because all the notes are stored nicely in your own portal. You don't have to go to another system. You don't have to sort of connect all these systems together. That's all sitting in the same place. So, and the contracts is important. And if you're if you want to add terms and conditions, and you can sort of enroll hundreds of group members into a group coaching, yes, it is possible. If you want to do one single contract for each individual coaching client that you get, yes, it is possible on Delenta as well. So you don't have to worry about connecting another solution, and so you can reduce the cost. It's one solution, one price, one tool, one tap. Everything is one with Delenta. So if you go to the next one, please, Natalie. Okay. This is where the workflow is going to work, right? Like, so how we see is you have processes. When you're running operation, this is how it looks like. Like Joel said earlier, you can't like look at, oh yeah, we can do it. But then when you're really actually getting into it, you say, okay, how am I going to capture my leads? How I'm going to basically do the welcome messages? How can I welcome my clients? And how I'm going to get my booking sorted, like my scheduling, project task management, all that. That's how we basically see client onboarding, client management, and promoting services works. Because what we see is your customers, they become mature as well. Their life changes, their requirement changes, and the industry changes. Coaching, sometimes you might do a certification, or you could do a master's or PhD or something else. You're going to do a course very quickly and show to your own customer base and say, you know what, hey, I'm basically learning this stuff. Are you interested in this? It should be very easy. That entire knowledge sharing process, experience sharing the process should work. So that's where we can coming in. And I don't want to go into each and every process, but this is what the value that we offer under one platform.
Yeah, one of the things that I love about it is that if you think about it from the processes, right, is that as a coach, I have a client, they come into this website that I created, and then they're able to book right away. I have the introductory session. They agree, we want to work together. We fell in love on first session, and then it's like, you have the contract, the e-sign there already in place. And then after that, you have the session in one platform. You're able to capture your own notes so that when you meet them again, you can just do a quick review of what happened last session. And it really helps, especially if you start growing. And at the same time, you can give information to your clients. At the same time, you can give like assignments or different things that you guys agreed that they're going to be working on, that they can log in, they can look at it, and it can help them and hold them accountable. So there's so much, like, I think as a coach is like, you don't realize how good of an experience you can have for yourself and for your client experience, which says a lot about your capabilities, and then has them trust you and really help you grow. So
yeah, like for me, it was like, I was like, oh gosh, well, what about this? And then I was like, oh yeah, they have that too. And then like, what about contracts? Oh yeah, that's included. I was just like, it's like, okay, is there anything they haven't thought of? Seriously. And that really for me, like, I'm like neurotic about organization and trying to keep track of it all through email. And I used to like make myself like Excel spreadsheets, and it was really, I was a hot mess trying to be organized. And the good thing is, if you're someone who loves to be organized, oh my God, you're gonna love it. But then even if you're someone who's terrible at being organized, like this will really help, because it makes it so it's not hard to do. So really that it doesn't matter. You might not even need all these things. Looking at these things might like, okay, too much too soon, fine. You don't need it. You can stay very simple. You don't have to take on all of these different components. You can just use it for what you need. But when you do grow and get there, it's there for you.
And one thing I'll say though, if you're just starting, like if you're in the, I'm excited, I'm going to be a coach phase, right? I would definitely, as you get your training and stuff like that, already be setting up like your profile landing page, your website, already be setting out the back end. So then you don't finish your certification and then be like, okay, now I have to spend all this time trying to do that. Even though Delenta obviously makes it a lot easier where you can do it quickly, I always suggest start that process. One, it starts motivating you to be a coach, to kind of commit to it. You're telling yourself, yes, this is not just a dream that I'm having. It's actually something that, because I'm already showing the back end, I'm creating this, that I'm not only telling myself, but you're unconsciously like really solidifying the commitment that you have to actually making this work, so that when you finish, you have the confidence to do it. You can just jump on it and move forward and go out there. And let's say if you're doing your training, you're talking to somebody about something and it's just really in alignment, you already have a place that you can, it's like that reticular activating system that you have in your brain that's very goal orientated. So I'm going to be a coach. This is what I'm doing. It's already looking for that. And in any conversations, you might be trying to find this. And if you get that opportunity right away, you already have somewhere to send them.
Yeah, because there's no reason to wait. You don't have to wait till you're done with certification, because you don't need it. And there's nobody's permission you're waiting for. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have everything perfect. You can just start coaching, and having this like gives you a way to do that.
Yep.
So we're just like, please just go out there and start coaching.
It's
Please.
almost like I tell some people, like when they want to do a workshop or a conference or something, they're like, well, I have to create the outline and all this other stuff. And I tell them the first thing that you're going to do is book the place, because it's almost like when you're in college, right? And you have a deadline. When you have that deadline, you have a fire lit under you, right? So the first thing I always tell people, like, you need to book it, get it ready, so that you're ready to go and you have something that's giving you kind of a deadline, that's giving you more motivation to move forward.
Exactly.
Yeah. And we all need this accountability sometimes, that push, that holding the accountable for that particular thing. So it's good to always give the put that commitment in there. So I think we talk about this area of like how the economics of coaching business work from the commercial standpoint, right? Like, you can create a high sort of low value. You can basically sort of build your course material where you can use many times possible. Maybe you spend like 4 or 5 hours, and that can be reused for many times throughout the year, years to come. And that can be the low cost kind of offering. I'm sure there's so much you can add here, Natalie and Joel. Please jumping in, right? Like, this is from my understanding and how it works, but we basically create that model that you can create. That's what this sort of, this shows, is kind of funnel show, like, how you can basically think about your packaging, your services in such way that from low to high, and then do more with the single platform.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that, like when you said with your packaging and stuff like that, that when you mentioned testing a few times, I think as an entrepreneur, and most people that go into the coaching industry, they're not, they haven't developed that entrepreneurship bone yet. And part of that is testing. Like you said, you might put a package out there, you might do another package, you might realize that, a 6-week package works better than a 6 month or 3 months, or, a shorter thing, or whatever it may be, or like something that you might have a package that's specifically to a topic, to a niche, and then you might have another one that's another niche that you kind of focus on, and it gives you data to see what's working and what's not working. But at the end of the day, one of the things that's always happened with coaches as you start growing is that you start realizing that you're short on time, right? So you have to leverage your time to be able to be successful, because there's only so much one-on-one coaching you can do. And that's why we always, like, when we're working with coaches that are like growing or developing, that even at the beginning, we're like, you need to start thinking about group coaching, because that way, one, you can make a bigger impact, you can reach more people. I love the group model, because then you have that accountability within the group. You have each other motivating each other. So you have that space to be able to do that. And again, obviously your revenue, the money that you bring in, is going to be a lot more for that 1 hour of your time. Another part is to have a low cost option, to have an entry thing, whether it's an online course. Obviously, we're very big on online courses, democratization of education. It can be ebooks, it can be different things that also provide value as an entry point. So it's something that you're going to make money without exchanging your time, right? So that's kind of the thing. And then as you grow, then your coaching really becomes that high touch. Everything else is low touch. So the online courses is, very, very, or no touch, right? And ebooks and stuff like that. And then the group coaching could be like a little bit higher touch, where they get some of that time with you. But then the one-on-one is when you can charge a lot more, because then your time is more valuable at that point, right? So people are willing to pay a lot more, and you have more flexibility than to choose more of your clients. So again, it's just part of growing your business and recognizing that even as you grow, I always think, like, where do I want to be long-term? How do I want to create this? And what's important to me? And again, Your time is limited, so you need to think about these things.
And like, just so you know, every highly successful coach uses this model.
Yep.
They all do it because you don't have a choice. Like, even like, we know people who are therapists or other sorts of practitioners, and they run into the same problem. There's only so many people you can work with in a day or a week. So this is definitely what works. It also helps you reach more people. Like I would just add, my biggest part was like, okay, well, if I could work with one person in this hour, but I basically go through the same process with every client, why not work with 5 or 10 or 20 people in that same hour? I can reach more people in the same time. So it really makes sense. But then the problem is as a coach, it's like, okay, great, I want to do group coaching. Maybe I even want to make an online course, but then there's like another piece of technology I have to deal with, right? And then again, that's why, and Sam already told us about this, but that these things are already in their system. So you don't have to find a course platform. You don't have to find another type of like video conferencing thing to do group coaching and figure out how that works, because it's already built right in. So even if you're not there yet, whenever you're ready, just add this piece in. It's in one place, and you're already used to the system, and it all integrates with all of your messaging and your packages, and everything's all in one. So it's just awesome that someone like Sam and his team had the forethought to think, geez, well, wouldn't it be great if we didn't have to like use 6 different websites in order to execute offering our coaching services?
But again, I just want to reiterate, like, even if you're starting or if you're a coach right now, really look at that, the low cost offer, look at the group coaching programs and stuff. Even for us, a lot of our students actually get certified in one of our programs and then take the group coaching certification, just because it helps them understand, like, how do I implement these groups? How do I structure it? What do I do in the processes and stuff like that? Because again, that having groups is going to open up so much doors and opportunities for your time to serve more people, and frees you up to do other things that you might want to have to do for your business as well. So
yes. So Sam, if you wanted to take a moment to show a little bit more about how those pieces work, or anything else that we haven't thought of that's worth covering at this point.
Yeah, like I think let's go through I think there are a few that I want to basically sort of mention at this stage. Again, going back to the idea of multiple systems, and you want to achieve this. Yes, there are systems for a specific and specialized case, but I just want to sort of iterate one more point here, is that be simple, right? That's actually, when you're like running a small business, I mean, if it is a multi-million-dollar business, fine, you can hire people, you can have these multiple systems managed by each individual. But in your case, or if you're a coach, you're probably looking at how I can simplify the process. You might not have all the bells and whistles there, right? But what are my core processes, and how I can basically do that, and comparing that knowing the fact that this is how I'm going to approach this this business is so important. Because we've seen that sometimes I'm going to compare with this. This got everything. I'm going to pay $299 per month. It's fine, because everything. And they come back after a few months, because it's basically they haven't thought through the process. What if those questions, and how I'm going to basically look at my first 6 months to 12 months to 24 months. This is how I'm going to basically formulate my strategy. So those are things to consider. Tools are important. I completely, tech is important and all that, but please look at how we're going to simplify. What is your approach to this business from operational point of view? And we can help, and Natalie and Joel and you experts in this space to advise on this area. And that's why we did this partnership as well. We want you have to have simplified system and get your base right to scale and take off to the next level, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And if you want to take off to the next level, yes, you can do it on Delenta. You don't have to go somewhere. You can add your multiple associate. If you're a life coach, you want to add a business coach to your association, your company. You want to add maybe a spiritual coach, because you have some individuals in your client base, or when you want to approach group coaching, you want to add other associates into this business. You can simply upgrade to our team plan and add more coaches. So it's simple as that. So Going to the next slide, maybe actually, yeah. So you can run groups. What you see right now is how we organize, group uh, appointments. Like for instance, when you create a group coaching package, we create a group in the background automatically, right? And every time somebody purchases that package, that individual will be added to the group automatically. You don't have to do anything, right? And then once basically when the time comes to schedule the appointment with these individuals is a group for the group program, all of these people will be shown like this, like those 4 individuals, and you can click a button and say, okay, I set up the appointment. Now you want to create a task, you want to share resource with them. Simple. You can just click a few buttons and you basically can share those resources with them, create appointments with them. And yeah, so you can keep doing this many times and you can scale your business simply through that process. So yeah, I mean, time saving is incredible on Delenta once you're basically on it. So yeah, what's next, Natalie? I think we have a few more to go. Okay, courses, yeah. So we talk about courses, and again, one of the most popular areas, and I think one of the important areas that you need to consider is how we're going to reuse the content and how you can create those passive content in order to work with your coaching, individual coaching or group coaching. So yeah, we got this. We got this. So
Well, and I think one of the good thing about courses too, whether you're selling them or giving them for free, it's also an ability for you to even create like a mini course to help your clients that you give to every client. So you set the foundation and stuff like that. So then you can really focus on some of the other stuff that you really want to focus on with your client. So you have something, because we do that. We were doing that with a lot of our clients, is that, we have content that they would view and they would see, they would have activities, and then we would be able to then go in the coaching session and be able to focus on a deeper level of it.
Yeah, and we do that when we've done group coaching programs as well, where there's a course that's part of it. So they take an hour of the course and they do some assignments, and then they show up to the live call and we work through stuff as a group. And then again, the next week they have assignments through their course. And so you can integrate all of that into one thing in Delenta. And you can also see like what their progress, to see what they're doing. You can do it drip content, or you can give them access to the whole thing. Like, you have all of the options that you would if you used a coaching, a course platform, like what we use for Transformation Academy. It works the same way in Delenta.
Yeah. And what's crazy is that if you think about all those different pieces that you would have to do to actually make this work for courses and groups, that is simplified.
I don't even want to think about it.
So we love what you've been done with it. So.
Yeah, interesting. And one more thing I want to basically mention here also is that you create a courses or coaching package as a program on Delenta, or even your landing page. You can integrate that with your existing websites if you have a website, right? We are not against a website. What you're saying is you can maybe start with a sort of very simple setup for a business with a very little money, invest on that, and you can test. And if you like, you can basically build a branding, amazing website. And at the time you want to integrate that entire these courses that you're creating here with your website, or the coaching programs that you create with your website, you can do that. That will reduce even cost more, right? Because every web developer charge you for a page, right? Or I don't know how much content that you want to put. So you can simply say, okay, link with Delenta, link with this page with Delenta. That's it, right? So simple as that. Now earlier, Joel and Natalie was talking about enrollment and how you want to think about how you onboard your individuals. So this is a screenshot I'm basically showing. So if you go up a little bit, yeah. So this picture here is how you can brand your own way, your own, the platform. You can basically put your logos and all that. However, you can also add your video, your welcome video, at the time when the customer get onboarded into their secure private portal. Your video can appear and say, you can welcome that person, right, to the video. So they can just say, this is where all these our coaching sessions going to happen. You get reminders. There's a way of you can basically get booking. You can book my time. You can access my courses over here and resources and everything. Everything is bundled, so you can do that introduction yourself. it's almost like seamless. It doesn't look like Delenta. If you want a custom brand to that level and welcome individuals in that fashion, yes, we can do that for you as well. That's where I think you should think about scaling, right? Not really like, earlier we talked about branding and all the things. So yeah.
When the level of customization, obviously, with something like that, somebody signs up, they see like a welcome video from you and stuff. It's just the level of credibility and trust that you're developing with your clients right off the bat makes it such a huge difference in the outcomes that you have with your clients.
Yes, absolutely. Like that the level of detail that you guys put into it is impressive. It's like it would almost make you think you know what it's like to be a coach. Like, I'm just kidding. Like, you guys really get inside the minds of it, because like I said, every time I think of like, well, what about this, and then like, yep, they have that. Like, just, you guys had a lot more. If I was trying to create this business, I wouldn't have come up with all of these things. So you really covered everything. And actually, you even mentioned that before, that if someone wanted to get to that next level where then they're working with multiple coaches, like that, you have that too.
Absolutely. So that's, I mean, this is about a coach onboarding now, right? We talk about the client onboarding. Now think about, you want to scale your business with the multiple coaches and associates under one roof, and you still want to protect your brand. So one of the things that, I mean, again, with the digitalization, COVID, all that, we have brought a lot of more accessibility to the market with the video conferencing tools and all that. However, you still find yourself is in a very difficult position with the control, with the data, with the brand, how you want to sort of use that. What I try to say is simply, if you have multiple coaches that you're working with, you want to make sure you see all the activities on live, right? Real time, and you want to figure out, like, the availability is published, how their profile look like, how the brandings are shown, and how the payments are working, right? If you want to sort of consolidate all that. So those are important matters, even though you can do it with, oh, you know what, why don't you send this link to this person? Why don't you connect to your Zoom account, and you can use this email to work with the customer? No, it doesn't work like that. Sometimes things can happen drastically, which can impact your brand that you've been building for a while. So what we want to do is we can bring all these individuals, the coaches, associates, admin, into one place, and make sure that you have full visibility across entire coach base, entire client base, right? If you want to create processes such way that to say, you know what, make sure you have private note every time. Make sure my admin can create appointment with your clients. We can basically make that all work. So those are the things that you want to consider when you're scaling, and we can do a different session on that, a completely different one. But so those are things I would basically sort of stress at this stage.
Well, and I love that, again, it's like, no matter how far you want to go with your coaching business, that it can just keep evolving and stay in one place, and no need to go through the horrible time of changing websites and changing platforms, which we have done. And I know that it's been alluded to that their prices are great. So we really want you to be able to see what we mean and how much we really wish this existed back when we started, because we used to have, like, I don't know, I think it was like $400 or $500 a month just on all of the different services that connected. We still do, because now we have a whole academy, but even as coaches, it was like we spend a lot on our platforms.
I mean, number of times our, my colleagues and myself, sometimes when you speak to coaches, because we do take a lot of feedback very serious. If somebody, I mean, that's where I think something that probably, what I learned out of this coaching industry is, like, speaking with your client is so important. Like you guys were saying, earlier, coach, start coaching, right? Start talking to your customers, start talking to their challenges and get to know them, and which we do all the time, proactively. And also we do during the time that they are on Delenta. And amount of time we have heard, oh, I can reduce that tool, I can now get rid of that tool, this is the cost. Literally, coaches have mentioned to me, Sam, you need to up your prices. They have told me. I mean, you should see us think about it, because I basically reduce another tool on that. And we are building these tools to make things simplified for our business. We continuously improve that, continuously develop that. Every month we bring a new feature. Zapier is basically, we couple of month ago we basically released, and we building more stuff, because our customer base talking to us and say these are the challenges that they're facing. And today I can sort of really humbly and proudly at the same time can say that, we have drastically reduced the cost for individual business owners like coaches on our platform. And we basically done that in a way that you can start from a $19 a month kind of range to, you can go up to building courses, unlimited clients and all that to $79. It's just even peanuts when you're basically scaling that kind of business to that level. $79 is so that's why some of the coaches are saying, are you sure you can basically you're adding this much value to me, and all that. So but we want to keep it, we want to make this accessible, we want to, we had the same mission, Joel and Natalie, right? We basically had the same mission, how you can make this, the industry better and get more people to share their knowledge and experience and make that impact that they come to this world to do. So yeah, we want to feel.
Well, and that's what we love about Delenta, is that the reality is for what a person would pay for like one service that you provide, you
get everything.
You get everything, and you're probably paying less than you would just for that one service, but you're getting all these other services and tools that can help you, and it's all in one place. So it's so that's why we really appreciate Delenta, and that's why we're really intrigued with partnering with you all and having our coaches know more about what Delenta is and what you all do.
And your prices are already great, but that you're being generous and offering an additional discount during this, hence why it comes down to $19. But that's what, to me, I look at it and like, just a calendar program, like Calendly, that lets you like have people book appointments and it keeps track. Just that's like $12 a month. So it's just, I mean, like the level, it almost sounds ridiculous once something like this exists. Like, why would you doing it? Yeah, exactly. It's crazy, and just like we just honor the fact that you keep it low, especially that lower end price for the people who don't need all the complication yet of courses or groups or something. You want to just start. You don't have to add in the other, but even when you add in the other things, like it still costs you so much less than it would to do them like on another platform. Fraction. Yeah, so it's still like no matter what level you're at, the cost is great.
Absolutely. And we want to celebrate this partnership today, right? We want to basically come with an even better offer for you guys. So for your especially Transformation Academy folks, so we want to basically sort of have this limited time offer we basically created. I know you have offered with our audience, and we basically have offer that basically want to make sure that you get even more value, especially the 2023 is coming up. And if you go with the annual package, this cost per month can even go down to $15, right? To start with, it's incredible, right? And because of the love we got, the relationship we got with a Transformation Academy, we want to basically give the best. And of course, we will talk about maybe the next week. There's a limited time offer we basically have created, by the way. So you will get all this information through emails and the communication. Even after this webinar is ended, we will be showing. I think publishing a recording, pre-recorded webinar, and the landing page will mention all that offers. And yeah, so it's.
Well, we appreciate you offering this. Like I said, we have students from all over the world that might not have access to something like this at a different price point. So your ability to be able to do that, to simplify the coaching and do the back end and save like the time, and really we really honor you for that. So.
Yes, and it's like we have an ongoing partnership. So this is just the beginning. We'll always have Delenta accessible through our website, and they're being generous and giving. Normally we would offer a 10% discount, but for this event only, they're doing the 20%. And they have a variety of levels. So you can either do it like you pay every month, or you pay for a year up front. And so we won't bore you with the details of going over that here. You can have a link right from this webinar, or if you're watching the replay from the page, that gives you the link to go and get the offer and see the choices and decide what one's right for you. And he also mentioned that, yes, we also have our own offer. So there's a lot of Transformation Academy students on here. Hey guys. And there's also a lot of people from Delenta who've never met us and haven't taken our courses. But regardless, the offer that we have is that you can save half off of our Life Coaching Business Masterclass, which basically goes into detail about those those 3 coaching, the marketing techniques we talked about, the joint ventures and the speaking and the free sessions. It tells you exactly how to do all of that, but it also talks about all of those things that, remember, the stuff on the surface and the stuff under the waterline, all of that stuff, like finding your niche and creating a coaching package designed to get results, and
how to
finding
speak their language.
how to speak their language and do your marketing message, and know who your people are and where to find them and all of that. It's all in one. There's like 6 different courses. They are all in one package that walks you through the whole process. And so again, there's a link that you can access right from here that will give you the ability to take advantage of that offer as well. And so, obviously we have a bazillion other courses. If you have any questions about that program with all the business tools in it, or any of our other programs, then we welcome your questions. Once you have the link in there, you'll make your way to our website and you'll be able to contact us there. If you don't already know, based on this conversation, like, we're here to help. So is Delenta's team. We're all here for the same reason. Like, we're here to support you so that you guys can go out there and make the difference you're meant to make, and follow your passion. So in any way we can support you, please let us know.
Yep.
Absolutely. And again, thank you so much, Natalie and Joel. This is amazing. And you know what, our folks from Delenta community going to see this recording, probably seeing some of them on live as well. It is somewhat late in the UK. It's around 8 o'clock, 8:30. Oh, it's 9:10. Wow. All right. It's evening. So most folks in the UK probably watching this, and they will be really appreciating all the strategies that you mentioned, because those are golden nuggets in my view. When you're basically scaling your business. However, the courses and the material that you got is amazing. I've seen that on your website, and some of them are basically we're going to share. You have shared with us to share with them for free. So thank you so much for all that. So and we will do more sessions in the future. That's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, and the last thing that I'll add real quick is, like I mentioned before, it's getting to the place where the New Year's coming up. Obviously, you're going to make your New Year's resolution. You really want to make the biggest impact and stuff like that. Like I tell people, if you're going to do a workshop, register that workshop, put it out there, have your location already. So commit to it so you actually follow through. The same thing comes with Delenta. And when you go with Delenta, what you're doing is that you're committing to it. You're committing to creating your website. You're committing to actually moving forward. So that way, when you have your training or when you start talking to people, you're already ready to go. So again, thank you, everyone. We truly feel blessed to be here with everyone. We truly feel blessed to have found Delenta, and we hope that we can serve you and we can help you in whatever way we can.
Yes, and we hope that for the
I have a broken finger by this.
Well, I hope everybody understands now why we love Sam so much, and why we're doing this. I hope if nobody watching was ready to take it to the next level, which of course we know you are. That's why you're here, right? Even if you weren't, if you walked away from this feeling like you're not alone, we understand your needs, we've been there, we've found what works, and that the answers and solutions and tech is here for you whenever you're ready. Like, even if it just makes you feel better that, yes, I can be a coach. Like, that's enough for me. That fulfills me. That gives me goosebumps thinking about it, knowing that, like, that's why we're here, right? Yes, of course, we run businesses, and so do you as a coach. But we're on this planet, like, we're that small percent of the population trying to do good and make it a better place. So thank you all for being those people. We really, really appreciate you.
Yeah, and somebody said we'd love to see a demo. Obviously, Delenta, you can go to their website and see like the functionality and everything, get more detail to be able to really understand, because it really does have a lot that you can use as a coach to be able to make a successful back end in business. So
absolutely. Amazing. Again, thank you so much for spending that 1.5 hours. It just went so quickly,
It doesn't feel like it's been that long.
And again, we apologize for starting late. We're also waiting for a hurricane to come to this area.
Yeah, luckily it's coming right after this is over. We'll start to get stronger winds, so we knew our power wasn't going to go out. Yeah.
So it was fun. And again, thank you for everything.
Yeah, no, thank you so much again, Natalie and Joel. Hope this storm will be not that hard. So, thank you very much for joining, and really looking forward to collaborating with you and join our communities, right? And
Yeah.
watch this space. We will be doing more sessions like this. We can add more value to you. So, thank you very much again, and have a
Yes, absolutely. Thank
amazing day,
you.
evening. Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
All right,
Get
take
some
care.
sleep, everybody from the UK.
Yeah. Well, have a great day. Wherever you're
Thank
from.
you.
Yeah.
All right,
Take
take care.
care.